preparation this week? Just how's it going? Long trip for this. So how are the guys feeling right now?
I think we're in a really good spot. Right now, after Friday, being able to take a couple days, we came in Saturday morning early, got our work in, so wanted to give the guys a pretty good weekend off going into this tournament. So I think we're good. I think we're in a good spot, and we had a good first day of practice.
Just kind of a tough road stretch coming up with these two games, and obviously the two big ones after that. Just what are you kind of preaching to the guys right now?
And I'd had George Washington and Sunrise after that. They're playing. I know they lost yesterday, but they're playing really, really well. So that's 5 good ones. We've to an extent broken it down a little bit. We're kind of through that first part of our schedule, and now with this MTE and then 2 really, really challenging non-conference games leading into another one that I think is going to be a really underrated opportunity for us playing George Washington. Just a real stretch, kind of an opportunity to mentally prepare for conference play, where you're going to see really good opponents back to back to back, and obviously right now our main focus is trying to find a way to win this event, going out in San Diego, and that starts with competing really well against a good TCU club on Thursday.
Do you intentionally try to diversify the MTEs? Vegas one year, San Diego, or does it just happen?
It kind of happened a little bit.
Okay.
We had been thinking about doing Maui, and obviously with the Players era, coming into existence, that's kind of not the same opportunity, unfortunately, that it once was. So, we like the idea of going out west. Initially, when we signed up for this event, Kansas was in it. They're no longer in it, so that's a negative. But TCU, Wisconsin Province, good field. Both of these games will be quad 2 or better, and it just so happened that this opportunity was San Diego this year.
What goes? Is it chicken and egg? You want to see who's in it first, or that's like an attractive venue kind of thing, just to take the guys somewhere?
Yeah,
what goes into
a lot of. Generally speaking, you want a good field, and I think that's kind of the main thing we're looking for at first, and then location, if it's close, that helps. But obviously, this is not that scenario. But we are signed, to play in the Players era for the next couple of years after this, so we'll be consistently out in Vegas. When that obviously has a financial component to it as well.
Jamie Dick says like 500-something wins. So obviously, pretty good coach.
Great
Defensively, they're one of 3 Big 12 teams that's been in top 50 defense. KenPom. The other 2 are Houston and Kansas. Like the last 10 years, they guard.
Yeah.
What do you see on film? Kind of?
Coach Dixon, is part of the same crew. That Randy Bennett and Kyle Smith were coming up. West Coast guys. So I feel like, I know him and his program pretty well, and they're definitely physical. They compete really, really hard. That's one thing that a TCU team is going to do. They are good defensively. I think they're really active. They do a good job, and their ball screen coverage is being physical. And for us, a big part of it is just holding on to the ball. I think our team has struggled a little bit with turnovers at times. I think this game is going to be similar to some of our conference opponents that like to put 2 on the ball. They like to trap on the post. They're trying to put you in scenarios where you kick the ball around. And so this is going to be a big-time ball control scout for us. And, try to put them in scenarios where we have 4-on-3s and 3-on-2s on the backside and then play, just go play. But definitely mindful of how good they are defensively, for sure.
Really helps having big men who can pass, obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, definitely. And, we just like we did on Friday night against the zone, we want to put it in their hands and allow them to make the right reads and disadvantage situations. And the way TCU has guarded up to this point, I feel like there's going to be some similar situations where they're going to put 2 on our ball handlers and ball screens, and then we have to make the right read out of that. But without getting too ahead of ourselves, we got to get out of the trap first too, and that's going to be harder, than normal. I think going into this TCU game, their bigs are long, strong, active, good defenders.
Is that Mississippi State, Texas A&M? Which one of the
Very similar.
Okay.
Yeah, I think. I would say probably guard ball screen similar to Mississippi State did last year when we played them, and they guard the post like Texas A&M did. So I think there's some good film we can watch from league play last year, and fortunately we do have some experience coaching against it. So I'm hopeful we can put our guys in position to be comfortable because they're tricky traps for sure.
How's Micah doing?
He's good. I think he's really close. My hope is he practices tomorrow, and if he does that, then he should be all engines go for Thursday.
And then for Providence and Wisconsin. I mean, what do you just kind of in general see from both of those teams, and how do you prepare for them as well?
I mean, to be completely transparent, that's the job of some of my coaches. I'm fully focused on TCU and treat it like a tournament where it's quick prep, and they're going to have a similar quick prep on us. So I don't, want to spend really any time prior to Thursday preparing for anybody else, because if we don't beat TCU, then I'm going to be really disappointed, and we'll have to figure out Friday anyways. But yeah, I mean, first of all, Wisconsin's a very good team. I think they're elite offensively from what I've seen. Providence did a really good job retooling. They have the Estonian kid who's been shooting the lights out, and Kim always has tough teams. Wisconsin is really skilled. It's a good field. Like, I think Wisconsin has a chance to be a top 25 team all year, and Providence has shown the capacity to have a good club. So I think they're going to be both good opportunities for us.
What do you hope to get out of these early season tournaments and just having your guys in that type of setting?
Wins, trophies. And we got to, I think we're playing really well in some areas. I think we're defending really well. We're rebounding very well. I think, our team, we've been very coachable. I was really pleased with our effort on Friday night. I think it's easy to look at a Merrimack club that's a little down talent-wise from where they normally are and say, oh, you're expect. But like we played really well with a lot of purpose. We were up 28-4, 32-4, whatever it is, and so I think our guys are executing. You're trying to execute what we want them to do. So I think we're in a good spot that way. Now we got to make a few more shots. We got to take care of the ball a little bit better. Those are kind of and then we got to defend without fouling better. Those are like the three areas that we're kind of looking at. All right, can we get better here over the next month of the season?
And
Go ahead.
Patrick Young said on my radio show that you do a shooting drill, NBA shooting drill with the guys every year, and that Xavier Lee set either all the records or some of the records. Can you share some about that and just what that might do to kind of give you guys that confidence that it's there, it's coming?
I'm not. It's a unique situation. I think. And I say it every time. Like I really like focusing on the things that don't require talent, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm gonna evaluate guys and how they're defending within our team scheme. I'm gonna evaluate how they're doing and their individual rebounding responsibilities, and then how they're doing keeping us in our offense and making the right play. Xavier's a career 37% three-point shooter. He's not shooting it well right now. That's obvious. Do I have confidence that eventually he'll get comfortable? Yeah, I do. In the other areas of the game, he's doing a really nice job, especially considering how much he's struggling shooting the ball. So, we'll give him a little more time to get comfortable, hopefully make some shots. He shot it well all summer, he shot it well in the fall. So it's obviously a little mental right now, and he's got to loosen up a little bit and just let the ball get through the net a couple times. But what I've been impressed with and pleased from him is he's not letting it affect the other areas of his game that could easily happen for a less mature player. So we'll see how it shakes out. But overall, pleased with this effort, and obviously we all want him to make a couple more shots.
Did he set some of the records in that drill? And what is that drill that
I think it probably is doing that with our player development guys and with Torian but yeah, like him shooting is like was on the lower level of concerns, when we were evaluating him coming in, and some of the areas that we were worried he'd be a little deficient, he's done a good job, so it's all part of the puzzle. And, as guys are changing teams and there's a lot of there's going to be more cases where guys, have a harder time adjusting. It's a different role, it's a different level. Again, we'll give him a little grace and see what he looks like in a couple weeks and go from there.
You said going into the season it'd be natural to take a little step back offensively, losing those three dudes.
Yeah.
I mean, but are you okay with where things are right now in general, just with the way things are moving?
Yeah, the two areas that we need to be better, we need to shot make better. I think we're missing some good looks, and then I think we're having a few too many careless turnovers, But every other aspect of, our attempting to execute, I think we're playing really unselfishly. The rebounding part of what we want to do is there. Our foul drawing's there. So the glaring areas, we need to get better, and the shot making is the easiest one for everybody to point at. I said, man, clearly, right? We need to be better that way if we want to have the type of season we want to have. But a lot of the fundamentals of our offense are where we need it to be for sure.
I know it's early on in the season too. Does the process change at all, sort of like when you're in a shooting slump like Xavier is? And have you guys tweaked anything during practice at all for him?
The process in terms of
just like how he goes day to day.
Yeah,
like
I'm sure
what
he's
shots
doing
putting
some
up.
different things. I don't think it's not like he wasn't shooting any and now we're asking them to shoot themselves. Like guys are pretty routine oriented, you know, going into it, and again, it's still a little too early in my estimation to make some like drastic changes or sweeping changes. As long as we continue to get him some open looks and he's taking the right shots, you know, I think it'll work out. But again, like we're evaluating everything we do every day, you know, so that my answer might be different next Monday than where it is today.
Non-traditional Thanksgiving's kind of part of the deal.
Yeah.
What's the plan?
Non-traditional.
Yeah. So what is the plan for this one? You guys bringing families?
A lot of our families are coming out.
Okay.
I think a good amount of our guys will have some family members there. We generally will have a Thanksgiving meal for you know, direct family and our players, and it's part of being a basketball man.
Yeah.
You know, the holidays are unique and tricky. We kind of gotten it where, you know, Christmas is pretty standard. We get a day or two or three depending on the schedule, but Thanksgiving is always a wild card, and you're generally out of town for that. You know, when you're at a good program and you're playing in some of these MTEs, and it's just part of the deal. You know, we're fortunate to have our families with us, and you know, we all enjoy being together anyway, so that's a big plus, being a part of this program right now. But definitely unique, and hopefully we'll get a good meal at the Hyatt out there in San Diego.
What's your Thanksgiving plate look like?
I think I'm a pretty standard guy, dude. I'm a turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy guy. I'm a big cranberry sauce fan. So, you know, maybe create a little turkey sandwich with a little cranberry on there and one of the rolls, you know, something like that.
What's the dessert you're grabbing?
I don't know. Maybe a little pumpkin pie or something.
Okay.
We'll see. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Is this staying through November?
I don't know. That's a great question.
No shave November.
We'll see. We'll see what Thursday looks like. I don't know.
Did you see what Dan Hurley said about the turkey the other
The
day?
crypto fan.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's probably a little more worried about that than I am. We're going to be eating that on Thursday. And we did not. No, it wasn't an issue. Eating the tryptophan. Yeah, we're not going to. Yeah, we're just being pretty standard on that for sure.
Thanks, Todd.